Series, a seat at the table, a podcast where we talk about leadership and impact by pulling up a chair and leaning into intentional conversation. Each episode highlights the impact of our alumni and friends who have helped shape and expand the table for women across Indiana. My name is Anne Hathaway, and I'm Executive Director of the Lugar Series. And today I'm honored to be joined by Morgan Perrill. Since her graduation from the Lugar Series program in 2016, Morgan has continued to stay involved with the Lugar Series, first as her class's board representative, helping to create the Next Gen program, and now as president of the board. Outside of her service to the Lugar Series, Morgan is Senior Vice President at the Corridor Group, where she focuses on lobbying and policy work. Morgan, thank you for taking a seat with us today. I can't wait to have our conversation.
Me either. I'm very excited.
So, I know that you've worked inside the government and you work outside the government, impacting the government. Just walk me through your career and how you got to where you are today.
Yeah, so definitely not a straightforward route. I have a marketing degree, a business degree from Ball State University. And I had a friend who ran the internship program at the state Senate and helped me suggested I participate, and I applied and was accepted. And the internship program and the legislative process in general, I think, is something that you either fall in love with or you hate. And I just sort of fell in love with it and went back and finished my degree, and then applied to become a legislative assistant and got involved. And, really, I think government service inside the State House and even outside of it really kind of makes an impact on your life. And for me, it was really just making a difference in the lives of others, which I still have the opportunity to do from the hallway. And I know that sounds kind of cheesy.
No, it doesn't at all. But can I stop you for a second? Yeah. I got all kinds of questions.
Okay.
So you were going to school for a marketing degree.
Yes.
Was politics even on your radar?
It wasn't. I will say, though, I grew up in a household with a Republican mom and a Democrat dad.
Oh.
Yeah. So, political conversations are always part of our life. And so I just had that kind of experience growing up. And so just a general interest, but didn't really think of it as a career option.
So what did you think you were going to do? What did you think you were going to get this degree and go do?
Yeah. I don't know. I really enjoyed marketing from a people perspective and a upper level marketing, those jobs that you get after 30 years in the field. And I did not want to do sales.
Got it.
Yeah.
So this opened up a whole different door that you hadn't even thought of. And then, so you'd grown up in a family that discussed politics.
Yeah.
But government wasn't on your radar.
Not at all. And in fact, working retail all of my high school days and through college, I figured I would just find a retail job right after school, which I did until a legislative assistant job opened up.
We've all had those.
Yeah, of course. And begged my way into it. But yeah, no, it hadn't even occurred to me as an option until I did that internship and had that experience.
So did you recognize during that internship program that you liked policy, politics, both? What was that aha moment that you went, okay, maybe I can do this for a little bit longer?
Yeah, I really was exposed to more of the policy and the process. I actually worked for Senator Teresa Lubbers at the time, which was really fun. I remember her actually sitting in a booster seat at the time. That was some of the legislation that we were reviewing. And that was quite the experience. But I got to cover the education committee as well. And so I really just enjoyed that. And that policy area has been a passion that's continued and something I get to work on to this day. So really that sparked a lot of love for policy and how it can impact the lives of Hoosiers right from the start. So, I just really have appreciated that and continued that through my career.
So how long were you at the State House?
Yeah, a long time. Yeah, a really long time. So I started as a legislative assistant, and I only was in that role for a year and a half. And then I was promoted to staff director. And so I was managing all of the legislative assistants.
Well, and from my perspective, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but you were the mom to a lot of LA's interns. You were that person who was everybody came to you for advice, counsel, wisdom, and you had to be the bad guy sometimes.
Yeah, the bad guy a lot. Yeah, I really grew up, I think, a lot in that role. I was, 23, and I was managing people twice my age, and people who were fresh out of college, who were my own age. And that was a pretty rough experience for the first couple of years. I learned a lot about management, but mostly about leadership, what not to do, and some good things. And I'm proud of that time. I made a lot of mistakes, but I also really eventually became mom, and really, I think, gave a lot of advice over the time. I'm proud of those people that, served on the staff and left and are doing amazing, wonderful things. And I had maybe a tiny part of their career under my belt, and I just really appreciate those people and stay in touch with a lot of them.
Which I think the people make these jobs so much more fun. And obviously, I could throw out a bunch of names and you'd be like, yeah, they started with me, and they were a part of your journey. Yeah. If you think back, though, you gave a lot of advice to people. But if you were to give advice to yourself when you took that job now, like what would be the advice that you gave to yourself?
Probably have more patience and listen better. I think that would probably be quick advice.
Listening and hearing comes up a lot in our conversations, in that people say, I try to be a good listener, and that what I'm learning is that listening is so important to effective leadership. But it's 100%. Something that we all have to teach ourselves to do better because our minds are going so fast.
Yes. And I think that is probably the number one thing in leadership, is just stopping and listening and really communicating with the person who's sitting down in front of you, because it's hard to turn your brain off, right? But it's so important, because it's not just what they're saying. Also, it's the verbal cues you're picking up on. It's everything that happens. And so it's just so important to really look at the people that you're talking to and understand what's going on. So you had these young people coming in fresh out of college who knew everything about everything. 100%.
And then you had these elected officials who were elected to get things done, who had their own agendas. How in your job were you able to work through helping people to communicate with each other?
Yeah, it took a lot of patience and training. Sometimes training without people knowing that they were being trained. I think that was a little bit of the trick. I'm really proud of that experience, the professional development and the structure we created for the staff over that time. It's tricky because, the staff, really felt like they knew what they were doing, and they really just wanted to take over the world. And you don't want to stifle that by any means, but at the same time, there's a learning curve. And so, a lot of the professional development had to be kind of hidden in some of the other things that we were doing. So, we did a lot of staff meetings where, rather than me just talking at them, I made them talk and present information. And then we, worked through some of the things that they were doing while they were presenting, so that they could learn while they were teaching.
How did you learn process with regard to the legislative session and making policy? there's so much to learn with regard to the intricacies. How did you teach yourself, or who taught you on the process? Because coming from a marketing degree, you wouldn't have necessarily gotten that.
Yeah. Man, I think you just live through it, is part of it.
For sure.
And then, just that desire to learn it and to be involved and to understand it, I think is part of it. Plus I was surrounded by just some amazing people,
Right.
The policy team, the chiefs of staff that I worked under, and really the speaker, Brian Bosma at the time, was really big about us being involved in learning and understanding, and promoted that staff leadership and involvement. And so I think that was really key to me understanding it.
So how hard was it to balance the policy and the politics? And how did you learn that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's tough. I think really what was helpful for me was experiencing it. I feel like I'm saying the same things over and over again.
No, it's true though.
And I think maybe that's where maybe it's lost a little bit now, but we would go and volunteer, take days off, knock on doors. And I'm not sure that there's a better way to really understand the local community, the, how campaigns work unless you're out there doing it. And that experience of, traveling the state to various districts where there are difficult races and knocking on doors in primaries or in general elections was really key to me understanding how that impacted what actually happened at the State House and how the two were connected.
I can't agree more, because I think that sometimes with the volunteers I've worked with, they think they know it all and that they don't need to go out and see the voters and the whites of their eyes and hear from them. And that the door-to-door, the telephone calls, and understanding how engaged constituents really are and what their legislators or other elected officials are doing is huge. Because I think sometimes we get into the State House and we think no one's paying attention, and we can do it the way we want to do it as opposed to the way the constituents want to do it, us to do it.
Yeah. And I will tell you that marketing degree was essential.
Yes.
It still is. And I think in how you approach different people, but you can't do that unless you understand where those people are coming from.
Sure. So at what was that aha moment when you said, okay, I've been doing this day to day and I need a change, and you decided to go to what we call the dark side?
The hallway.
Hallway.
I'll tell you, I think I had this real long list of accomplishments things I wanted to get done. And it kept growing, but really I checked all the boxes. I accomplished a lot of the things that I had set out to do, like creating opportunities within our staff to grow the senior LA position. We worked through some of the constituent management programs. We purchased those. So I had really accomplished a lot of the things that I had wanted to get done. And so I was ready to move on. And, I had found a role that really wasn't hallway focused. I was going to get out of it altogether. And that lasted about 3 months.
And you missed it?
I did a little bit. I missed the policy work. I wasn't sure I was cut out to lobby. I don't think I fully understood what it meant. And so but my boss pushed me in that direction. And so I ended up in the hallway pretty quickly, that first session out. Back in the hallway, and I've been there ever since.
So what does being in the hallway mean to you?
Yeah. I think it's really about being an educator on what our clients need, and how really policy changes are going to impact them on, and how those impacts could really be detrimental or positive for our clients.
So when you were in the State House working on the staff and the professional staff, you had one relationship with legislators and elected officials. Yeah. How did that change when you left? And did it surprise you the way it changed?
This is a tough one. So I think it was, I was there for so long, and I was part of a team. And then all of a sudden I was in the hallway, and it wasn't so much with the legislators. I think that that relationship changed in the sense that I think they viewed me more of a peer than a staffer. But I think my relationships with the staff changed.
Oh,
a little
tell
bit
me
too.
more. Did they see you as the enemy?
No, but not the enemy. But I was on the outside.
So you weren't on the you weren't on the inside stories about everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very insulated in some ways. There's a lot of information going on, especially when you're at the senior staff level, and that team is a really close knit team. You have to work together. You're really supporting a caucus, and you're really working hard to do that. And then all of a sudden the next day you're on the outside. That's tough. It's still
really
tough for me.
Yeah.
But that first year was real difficult.
So how long does the average person stay as an LA or in a policy job inside the State House?
It depends. In LA is about 2.5 years, 3 years.
That's about all you can do?
Yeah. But I think, that was important to me. I think, staying for your first job that long, 3 years, was really good because, you can't do that forever.
Right.
It's a stepping stone position. But I think the senior staff stay a lot longer.
Right.
I'm not sure what the average is, but it's a lot longer than that.
But I think what I identify from your stint at the State House was a love of process, a love of state government, the people, and the opportunity then to do it different satisfied your curiosity in so many ways.
That's exactly right, Ann. I think the people are always the hardest thing. I mean, that was the hardest thing for me to leave. And I'm still close friends with a lot of the senior staff that were there or have left. And, you're also working towards a goal, and that's hard to find in a job.
Right.
Where you've got a team and you're all working towards the same thing.
So when you're lobbying, how do you approach each session? Do you have the same clients for multiple years? Are they one and done? How do you approach getting ready for each legislative session?
I think it depends on the client. A lot of my clients are continual clients. Occasionally we have a one and a done, but that's not very often. I think it's a lot about, it's not like we start in, November planning for session. We're already planning for next session. Unfortunately.
Here next session's going to be a big one.
Yeah. But it depends, every client's needs different. Every client communicates differently. And so it's tough to kind of just put a blanket statement on it, but, just really thinking through things, to the extent that I can personally, I try to plan ahead as much as possible, because it just makes the session easier.
Sure. Is it different than what you thought it would be?
Yes. 100%.
How so?
It's a lot more of client communication and client expectations, conversations, and management.
So the client just doesn't tell you what they want to do and send you to the State House and you get to do it on your own. You have to be communicating with them throughout the process.
Yeah, I actually cringed when you said that. Yeah, no. I think it's a relationship, right? You have to build trust with your client so that they can, understand the process and that you believe, in what you're saying and that you can communicate positively. So, it's like any relationship.
So is it different than like when you started as a lobbyist to today? Is it different? And how has it changed?
I talked to a legislator recently who said, I think that we're in a time of ideology and change in that perspective. And I think that that's a real positive way to look at it. I'm gonna go with that. I mean, you could look at it and say that it's much more political than when I started, but I'm hoping that this too will pass and we'll come to a time where it's maybe more positive. This session was rough.
This session was rough, and I think that a lot of it had to do with the calendar. I think that a lot of people lost December, and the holidays were a different focus than they've been in the past, and so it was just different, which made it difficult. And then I've heard all kinds of different stories about why it was rough. When you think back not only on this past year, but also whether it be as a staffer, a senior staffer, as a lobbyist, is there one thing or one story, one incident that just makes you smile that you can repeat? Then you kind of go, or maybe what was that moment where you knew that this is that aha moment where you won on a bill or something happened and you went, yeah, I love this.
This may not be real popular. Maybe it is. I don't know. I will always remember right to work passing. Mm-hmm. I think, it's one of those things that, was difficult, very, very, very difficult. But I think in my mind was the right thing to do. And,
those were wild days at the State House.
It was very wild. And to be there and be a part of it,
you were
on
the senior staff then, right?
I was on the senior staff. And, it was tough for us too, being responsible for all of the staff and interns, when the State House was very crowded and, security was a lot less than it is now even. And, so, there was an element of that, but, for the most part, everybody was nice. That was in the building. It was just very crowded and, but still just the monumental passing of that, I think, is something that I will always remember and never forget.
I totally understand. So. Whether it be, there's always through each of our lives, whether it be an election moment, a campaign moment, a policy moment, and it's indelibly printed in your mind with regard to whether it be the term or the moment. And so I can imagine, because you were in the thick of it.
Yeah, yeah. And there are a lot of other stories I probably can't say. But, it's really a family, the caucus. I mean, when I was there, I'm sure it is under Speaker Houston as well. And, but under Speaker Bosma, it was, everybody has, whatever. But it was a family,
right.
When I had both my babies in that time and got married in there. And it was, things.
Is your husband a part of the process, or did you find somebody on the outside who could keep you grounded?
Thank goodness he's not. He's not a part of the process. And that makes me able to do this because with 2 children, it's important that he can be home with them, so that I can, work the hours that I work during session and
sure.
to do this. But, and thankfully he is a wonderful dad and husband, because otherwise this wouldn't be possible. So, yeah.
Good for him. Good for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's talk about your engagement in the Lugar Series. So I think you were still inside working for the caucus when you took the class.
Yes.
Or when you applied and were accepted into class. So did the Lugar Series change you? What did you learn from it? What do you remember?
100% it changed me. I think the most standout memory for me was the speeches.
Oh, you mean, yes, that homework assignment.
Yes, the homework assignment. This for me, I am much quieter. A lot less quieter than I used to be. Mm-hmm. I thank in part the Lugar Series for that. And the speech portion for me was pretty terrifying. But I had decided before the class that I was going to take every opportunity provided to me, including this one. And I met with our speech coach even outside of class. Mm-hmm. And I decided to take a huge leap and make my speech, my pitch to be elected as the board representative for the class. And I'm proud to say that was the first election I've ever won.
Yay!
Yeah. So that was a big deal for me. Especially, some women come into the class with lots of confidence and already won elections. I was not that person. But the Lugar Series helped me increase my confidence and do some things that I had never done before. So part of the reason why I care so much and why I continue to want to make sure I give back.
So I want to explore actually your service on the board, but I also want to talk about elections with you. And you put yourself in a vulnerable position to run for office. Tell us your journey running for office.
Yeah, that was a fun one. So I had mentioned earlier that I care a lot about education policy, mother of two in public schools. And so I actually ran for the Danville School Board at one point prior to 2020, so prior to COVID. Having worked in education policy, Speaker Brian Bosma was very engaged in school choice and education policy. And so I worked there and then continue to do so. But while I was on working for the Corden Group, I ran for the Danville School Board and eventually lost, but really enjoyed the experience. Worked hard, raised money, knocked on doors, had campaign material. And it was a really good experience for me, I think, to put myself out there, to go through that process. I wish I would have thought more about where I was running and for what position I was running for. I think in hindsight, school board is a very tough election in a small town, probably not the race you want to run for. But I learned that lesson the hard way. And so I think it was a really good experience. There are a bunch of other lessons I learned along the way. But definitely something that, I care about. So it's not something I would say I would never do again, run for school board, but you never say never.
Right. So do you think about running for other offices now? Or do you focus on your current day job and wait to see if opportunity presents?
I think I'm focused on my current day job and see if the opportunity presents. That being said, caring about your community means that you're never not open to opportunities as they come. You have to give back. I serve on a board with my local school, and that matters to me. So, if the right opportunity presented itself and it was an option with my current job, it would certainly be something that I would definitely be committed to doing because of my personal commitment to my community.
That's awesome. So you haven't ruled it out, but it's not foremost on your list right now.
Correct. But electing lobbyists is also very difficult to do.
It is, and it's a fair point, but you just never know what opportunity will present itself at what time, and so who knows. So I'm gonna leave it open, that door open for you. But obviously, when you were in the class, you leaned in, were elected class board representative. So that would be a year on the board, and then another opportunity presented for you to stay on the board and be more involved in the Lugar Series. And you're currently the board president, finishing up your second year.
Yeah, and I just couldn't be more proud of the Lugar Series and really just the opportunities I've had, and just really to give back to the organization that's done so much for me, and just all the women who've participated. It's just a wonderful program, and I hope more women participate.
So if you were out there today encouraging other women to apply, what would you tell them about the experience and the why? Because it's a competitive process.
Sure.
We have about 50 applicants every year. We select 20 for the class, a lengthy application, an interview process, and then a commitment to, come to Indy one day a month for 10 months. That's a lot.
Several things. So first, don't give up. So I applied the first time and lost. Wow, I'm
No, but
I didn't get in. And I think that's an important thing to note because, it was actually a really good thing for me because I also got some feedback and I went back and really got involved in my local county party, which has been a wonderful experience for me. I got to know a lot more people in Hendricks County and got involved in the party. Also, led to me running for school board as well. And so that was a great experience for me. So that feedback and that, not getting in the first time really led to a lot more opportunities for me locally. And then I applied again several years later, but really had that experience under my belt. And I learned a lot from it. And then applied again and got in. And it was the right time. I think too, the other thing is, everything is a learning opportunity and you have to take advantage of that. And so, coming to Indianapolis and doing monthly classes is a great experience. And I think, there aren't many opportunities as adult women to engage and learn. And I wish I had another experience like that, similar. I could do it now because it's just, we don't have those experiences, especially with just other women to get together and to do that. And I think this is one of those rare experiences that you should take advantage of, especially, if you're looking to get involved in public service and government or already are.
Do you stay in touch with your classmates?
Oh, I do. And in fact, I think serving as president has been a great excuse for me to be getting everyone together. And in fact, our 10-year anniversary is this year. So we are trying to get together this summer to kind of...
Oh, how fun.
Celebrate that.
Well, let me know. Let me know if I can come by for a few minutes. I try not to hone in on the reunions, but a lot of the classes get together and every now and then I pop in and have an opportunity to sit and listen. And I think one of the things that there's so many things I love about the relationships of our alumni is one, the loyalty to each other. Two, we all go through these seasons of challenge and the support. And I watched some of the text chains and social media with regard to the engagement. And I just, there is a special bond. And when I tell the class on the first day that that's going to happen, everybody just kind of laughs at me and rolls their eyes and doesn't believe me. But then by the time we get home from our trip to DC, everybody's bummed and sad because there isn't a next class to see each other again. They get used to seeing each other every month.
Yep. It is really special and such a wonderful part of the experience.
Mm-hmm. I think that you've said it well with regard to there aren't a lot of opportunities for professional women necessarily to spend that amount of time together, and also to be vulnerable about what they want. Just appreciating that everybody is trying to figure out where in the world of public service, civic engagement, their role is.
Yes.
And having a safe environment to ask questions and to learn, that we just don't get that.
Right. There's just not an opportunity like this out there. And really to learn from each other, I think is just so valuable.
So one of the other things that your legacy as a part of the Lugar Series will be, not only as a class member and an officer, is the Next Gen program. And I'm going to let you explain what that means because it was a nugget of an idea and you kind of took it and ran. What is the Next Gen program and how did it become a thing?
Yeah. Well, Blair Milo and I, it started out as there was a young woman who was really into government and wanted to learn more. And so, we had the idea of, really creating this next generation program. So, middle school and high school girls could really learn about public service and engagement and, just learn about Republican values in a way that was a safe place, and really just a mini Lugar Series program, and create that pipeline, right? Mm-hmm. That pipeline to the Lugar Series. And so it just has evolved, and we've created a one-day program for women. We've utilized the PAGE program at the State House, but really built a learning experience for them. And so I'm really proud of it. I'm really excited that we actually had one of our next generation graduates come and participate in the Lugar Series later. That was the whole goal.
Right.
And that just makes me so happy. And I hope that that's something that we can continue. And it's just such an amazing experience, and hopefully something that, leads to more women engaging in politics or the political process or government service. We just, outside of government class, there's just no way for young women to really engage. And I think that they want to, and we want to find those young women and, give them opportunities.
Mm-hmm. So what's the ideal candidate for the Next Gen program?
Yeah. A woman or a young girl who's 13 to 18, who, has an interest in public service or government or politics, potentially has Republican leaning ideas or questions about that, and, is willing to come down to the State House probably next session, January, February, March, somewhere in there. Once we'll send out applications.
So I'm not sure everybody knows, but that we used to do a class project. Or we've always done a class project, something that the class has to come together, and it's very organic. Basically, I say you have to have a class project, come up with it, self-organize, put yourselves together, and execute. And it's been very successful. Each class has done it differently with regard to raising money for a cause or supporting something that they're fond of, going door to door for or engaging for a class member in a race, etc. That being said, one of the things that the board, you and others recognized was that there wasn't an opportunity for young middle school, high school kids to actually have a hands-on experience. And also we understood that the State House, people didn't understand how accessible it is.
Right. How you can come and participate and really be a part of it. So
we started this, and we would do it every other year in the long session. And then COVID hit.
And we had to stop.
And then we tried it last year. 2 years ago, it kind of starts to run together for me.
I know. We did it last year, and the class did it as their project for the first time.
Right. And when we recognized this void.
Yeah.
And so the short session was a little trickier because the class had to move more quickly. But I think it was a good experience for us as board members and as the professional team to understand how to do it in the future. And now we've made it for at least the current time to be the specific class project, so that we are creating that pipeline for the Lugar Series. I'm with you. It was so exciting to have someone who went through their program, then at a very young age qualify and apply for the class. That was pretty cool.
That was really cool. And I think, it just says that this can be a future, and young women who are interested have some sort of at least outlet to learn more.
So I'd love to pick your brain, and I'm going to do it publicly here. Obviously, as a board president and, this focus on the pipeline for young women, one of the things that I personally struggle with, because we're all so busy and everybody's out doing their thing, is how to engage alumni better, how to continue to keep that relationships, because the relationships are so important. It's something we talk about in the Lugar Series all the time. Relationships.
Right.
So we created this podcast in order to be able to help more of our alumni get acquainted with people that they might not know from other classes,
which I love.
But what are your other thoughts on how best we can engage our alumni, and maybe this conversation will provide an opportunity for alumni to give us more ideas, because we don't want to spend money. We just want to figure out how to better network.
Yeah, that's so tough. I think every organization struggles with that, right? Your alumni are your lifeblood, right? Mm-hmm. That they keep your organization running. And I think it's really up to them. I think they need to attend events and recruit members.
Right.
And so I think, the Lugar Series does a great job. I think our newsletter is great. It's fantastic. It's hard to find content every week, right? I know it is.
I might be a voyeur of social media channels.
I think that's great. So that's amazing. I mean, sharing that information, though, is so helpful. And so I think the newsletter, our website, are all great things. I think the Book of Women, for lack of a better word, is also wonderful. But it all takes member participation and alumni participation. And so I think my recommendation is to our alumni to participate. I think we have opportunities, the annual luncheon, our reception in the fall, to attend those events. And I think, I know what the Lugar Series did for me, and so I care and want to give back, and I just encourage all of our alumni to think about that and continue to do that too. And so, offer to be the person to have coffee with the new class member. That's been one of my favorite things about being the president, is to really be able to engage with the class. And maybe you've been away for a while and you want to engage again, and we just encourage you to do that. So Christmas party, I forgot about that.
The Christmas party too.
That's my favorite.
The Christmas party is always so much fun. The holiday party, and it's just there's so much laughter and there's so much joy. It's just it cracks me up every year. Yeah. It's a fun place to be. I'm gonna say this to you, is that just because you're not going to be president doesn't mean you can't get a list of the new class members.
Don't worry,
and engage and have coffee with them. I think, and as you know, we give homework assignments, and one of the things we ask the class to do is to identify a board member and have coffee with them. And also, who's that woman in your community that you always wanted to talk to but didn't have a reason to? Well, you get to blame the Lugar Series for scheduling that appointment.
I love it.
And what I love is that every woman wants to help every other woman be successful. The Tripping the Prom Queen thing is kind of a history when it comes to Lugar Series, because we really get excited about. And that's what the newsletter is too, is like looking to promote and to brag about. It's like our brag book of what our Lugar Series women are accomplishing. But the other thing is for me that I want to ask you and other alumni to do is continue to encourage women to apply. And I think the point you made, there are a lot of women who have had to apply more than once because it's so competitive. Yeah. But we're always giving feedback and trying to encourage women to apply. I mean, Elise Nashala, our current state comptroller, she had to apply twice. I mean, and she's had, obviously an extensive career. So, and some days, I don't know about you, but some days I just don't interview well. So
100%. Today might be my day on this podcast.
Oh no, you're great.
I mean, I think, you could, you might not get into the Lugar Series the first time, but the second time you might, and you could be the next board chair or state comptroller. Who knows?
Right, exactly.
So I think you should never give up on yourself. And every experience is an opportunity to learn. And so I hope that our alumni will come together and encourage other women to apply that they know or reapply.
Yes.
Because it's so important.
Thank you. And thank you for your leadership with the Lugar Series. And just, you've been a great ally, a great partner to me and to a lot of the women in class. And we're grateful for that. I'm gonna go back to the script a little bit here. I want to talk about your leadership style, And, we all have different styles. So when you think about what you've learned, whether it be in your professional jobs, in your board service, what kind of leader are you?
I would say quiet, probably steadfast.
Are you a pusher, a puller?
I want to say a pusher. I don't know. I think I have some very specific leadership qualities that I try to live by. And those are that you should always surround yourself with people who are different than you, who will speak up. That's really important to me. I think you have to listen to others. Doesn't mean you always take that advice, but you should always hear it, listen to it. And I think you lead by example, I think is important to me too. I think try to always do that. It's not always possible, but try to do that. And then just, always try to do your best and give grace when possible.
That's really a good one. Do you manage men and women differently, do you think?
I don't think so. I'm raising 2 boys. I think they're just as emotional as anyone else. I don't know. I don't know. I never really thought about it, to be honest with you. So,
are there challenges in the workplace that as a woman you felt that you had that a guy didn't have?
Yes, unfortunately.
And how did you overcome that?
I think you just can't give up. I mean, I think it's unfortunate, but you just have to kind of keep fighting and keep making sure that you have a place, and you just don't give up. I mean, I don't know.
You and I share that together.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes the word no actually inspires me to fight harder.
Yeah. Yes. That would be, my parents would agree with you on that. Yeah.
Are you an only girl? I
am the only girl. So yeah. Yeah. Being told no is often a motivator.
So what's the one question that you wish I would have asked you today that I didn't ask? Is there anything that when you think about your experience, your leadership skills, opportunities that you had that you want to share?
I just want to thank you guys for all you do. I think you make the Lugar Series what it is. And I just appreciate it. There's a lot of work that goes into this, and I know it. So I just really appreciate that.
That's really nice of you to say. When people ask me why we do this, it's really about the women. You and I have talked about this before in our own conversations, is that this is a labor of love, making it easier for the women who follow us to have opportunities and make it much easier for them to be successful.
Yeah.
Wow. So thank you for that. But we love what we do. So I'm going to wrap up with some questions. Okay. This is kind of the I think firing line questions.
Rapid fire?
Yeah, that's it. Rapid fire. So I want to ask you a series of questions and answer in one word.
Okay.
Or we kind of cheat a little bit sometimes.
Good. One word's not my specialty.
How would you define your leadership style?
Quiet.
That's what you said before.
I know. I don't know.
I feel like I need to explore that. Quiet as in leading by example, quiet as in not being a yeller, quiet as in
I can yell. I think just like
calm,
maybe.
I like that. Although I don't always like, you got this fire in you too.
I do.
So
that's not fair,
there's
maybe.
this balance.
Because it'll come out when I need it, I think.
Should we ask your boys that?
Yeah. No. I have a very different answer.
Okay. So one word, what motivates you?
I think God. my family. Can I put 2 there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
What challenges you?
Oh, my family. No. I think, just to always do my best,
Right. Right.
Chris would say I was a perfectionist, but I think just to always work hard.
So I struggle with the perfectionist thing too, and I'm learning to know when good is good enough, but
yeah.
it's hard.
It is hard.
It's hard. Indiana in one word.
Home.
Mm-hmm. A word for the current and next generation of women leaders.
Key to success. Key to our future.
Couldn't agree more. And the Lugar Series in one word.
Leadership.
I like that too.
Oh, I feel like I'm not. That was tough.
Those are tough questions, but and making you do them in one word. Morgan, thanks for being with us today.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you for having me. This was wonderful.
We are grateful for your leadership, your service, and for helping to manage and promote the Lugar Series to continue the legacy of Senator Lugar. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please tune in every other Tuesday as we highlight more Lugar Series women. Impactful, real stories heard exclusively on the Lugar Series, A Seat at the Table. So pull up a chair and join us.